Always nice to see our friend back again. Always very curious as to what you're digging, aren't you? Hey? Lovely, isn't he? There he is. Always likes to take a peek at you. Hello. Been a while since I've seen you. Still, you've seen what rich pickings you can get there. No doubt you've got a little nest somewhere. Put some up on the other plot. Let's see how you get on then, eh? Oh. Yes, the onions I've got to put in. Got to put some more onions in. You'll enjoy watching that. See what you can find down there. Do like to see what everyone's up to, don't you? Eh? Oh, we found something. There we are. 22nd of April. It's very cold this weekend. They've given out Arctic air coming up for the north. The plum blossom is doing very well, as you can see. This was planted last year. So it's but they're probably 3 or 4 years old, these saplings, when they went in. Another plum tree here, as you can see, and it's well ready for pollination. This one's an apple tree which got last year, and it's obviously going to come out into blossom later than the plums. The plums are definitely coming out earlier here in April. And another plum here, which is doing well. Again, I hope there'll be some cross-pollination. Just got to get the last of the onion sets in, and then I've got some shallots to go in. As you can see, I've got these lines here dug along here, and I was quite surprised. I mean, they've gone in quite well actually. I'm just going to cover them lightly. And the big treat today was the chicory. Absolutely amazed how well this grows down here on the clay soil. This sage has grown like some sort of triffid as well. Unbelievable. I have to get a bit of this for the herbs at the kitchen. A lot of birds on the hedgerows, as you can hear. I think there'll be hedge sparrows. And there's been a wren running along the top of the shed by the elder. Of course, looking forward to the elder. You can hear the bird song up there. This is called borage at the back of the plot, and it's in flower at the moment. I tried using some last time I came down just to clean my mouth, and apparently that's what people use this for in medieval times. And it's supposed to be good for things like sore throats and for cleaning teeth, etc. This is my friend who was there before, and he's flying off now. These shallots I've got are called Golden Gourmet. You're supposed to plant them 20 centimetres or 8 inches apart. And here they are. So I've got to get these in and see how they go. Never grown these before, so I hope they will work out down here. Female blackbird. Might have a nest somewhere. Thought about a bit of a joke really. I run out of onions, and everyone's told me, well, that's shallot then, isn't it? Run out of onions, and that's your shallot, isn't it? That's shallot. Found a little home then for my shallots, and got nearly 12 of them. So there's along one row here, spaced about 8 inches apart here. They're supposed to be covered only so the next show. We found a real chunker now. There's 2 of these, and of course they're a bit territorial. There we are. He's enjoying the spoils there. Oh yes, a real chunker there for your babies. There he goes. Straight. Ooh. He's going to bring that one back. If you've got some chippings that can be delivered, then it's a good thing to get them down. This is the path which you normally walked along the entrance to this one. The raspberry canes, as you can see, the raspberry canes are along here, and they're doing very well. These are all found on the bottom of the plot. Many of them sort of well over 10 years old, but I've taken they're like little sort of seedlings that had sprouted, and they've done very well along. And there, of course, this is the champagne rhubarb, a different variety which was planted about 3 years ago, so this will be the first year in which it will really produce hopefully a larger crop. More raspberry cane. And these are obviously going to be tolerant of the clay soils. When I looked up Damsons, it said that some of them just aren't tolerant of heavy clay, but these ones seem to have survived over winter, the little seedlings are put in. Cherry trees, these did well last year, so I've got one there and another one, and basically we'll see how they get on. Just notice that the rosemary's in bloom at the moment. Lovely blue flowers. Nice to see some chaffinches about as well. And there's one there. This other one, not quite sure what this one is. All along these cananemes are growing very well, so they're in flower at the moment, and best year ever. I sort of did a tidy up and clear around the little gooseberry cuttings, and also some little cuttings I took. These grew from small seeds that had landed in the garden. That's a damson seedling there. See how it gets on. And cobnuts and filberts. That's a filbert. These little seedlings sprout up all over the place if you've got them in your garden. This is a little seedling I got from a very fancy damson, and it's taken years because it's been in the freezer 2 years, and then I defrosted it, cracked it open, I even cooked the outside of the kernel. This is a thornless blackberry. I've taken a little cut in late winter, just put it straight into the ground. It seems to have taken alright. This, believe it or not, is a fig tree, and I've never had any figs off it though. It's been in quite a few years, and as you can see it's sort of in bud, but I've let it go. Kentish, that's a Kentish cob, which is the little one that should take alright, and a little holly. They're all over the place, these little holly seedlings. I'll let them go, and then obviously if I can find a home for some of them I'll take them down. I thought this stuff was like a chokeberry because I did put some in years and years and years ago. I forgot about it. I even tasted one once. This is a plum tree cutting I took. I had it soaked in water about 6 weeks. It might actually survive this one. I mean, the buds look alive on it. We'll have to see. And I've got various miniature roses. I think one of these is called Coronation. And also my cuttings are kept down here, like cobnuts. And I always put some of the wild blackberries. I keep spreading these as much as I can. And the buxus down there, which is got a few of them, the hedging plants. I've separated them. A couple more buxus there. I mean, they are for a hedge really, or for a maze if you had enough of them. If you had hundreds of them. This, as you can probably see, is like a rowan, but given half a chance, elder will help itself anyway. If you buy your little specimen bushes and shrubs when they're little, like for instance this Deutscher Gracilis, they can let them grow in pots and you can bring them on. I quite enjoyed doing this. I've got quite a few of these shrubs that way, as small specimens, various prunus species as well, and other things like jasmine and things like that. This one's called a Santolina, and it says on it needs full sun, and it flowers between June and September. Feed every 2 weeks, so it says. So let's see how this one gets on. I love the flowers that were on it. I haven't seen any yet. People seem fond of growing sweet corn, so I planted 20 of them. Got them from Wilco's actually. I've just put 3 in these brown ones and 2 in the black ones, the smaller black ones. And we'll have to see it. Apparently they might start sprouting in about 7 days time. This thing's weird. It's corkscrew hazel, and you do get hazelnuts off it. Not many, of course. The squirrels get them before I do. And you got catkins on it. Well, catkins are just finishing now, and it's absolutely weird. It really is like something out of a haunted wood. I love it to bits. I really do. I mean, it's really the architecture of this thing is just unbelievable. Some of the primroses are still flowering. It's now late April, the 22nd. So this one's the other one I filmed earlier is called a spirea, by the way, or a snowman. couple of lonely tulips. Not really a flower man, me, but you know, I'll have a couple in the garden. This is one of my favourite primroses. This one here has done really well. It's been in for a while. This stuff's called an aromatic herb called, well, it's the curry plant. Actually, I should have known that, shouldn't I? Really could smell it from here. And other little shrubs I've had. More buxus there. And this is a prunus. This tall one's a prunus. And I've got some, well, these are apple tree, well, little apple seedlings grown from seed. 2 or 3 of them there. And this is a weird stuff. It's called curly red. Caught my eye at the garden centre. This one. It's on a special. So this one's I even took a cutting off it. Of course, if you collect some of your herbs that you've grown, things like sage and rosemary and basil and, you know, whatever you can get hold of, you can always put them in with your stew and your dumplings when you get back home after working for some hours on your allotment. And you can always have your dried herbs there. And, well, I've just got them wrapped in some greaseproof paper there, drying at the window. Now, I looked after this plant for a whole year, and it flowered when I first got it. It was an Easter flowering cactus. Now, Easter's long gone. I know it's late April, and Easter can be very late in April, and I'm yet to see a flower. Fed it, watered it, and given it at home. Apparently, I'm wrong, and the flowers are going to come. Right at the end of the leaves, see that sort of furry bit there. And there's another one, apparently, which is going the way of becoming a flower as well. Where you get the ends of the leaves, that's where the flowers come. Oh, there's one there. Can you see it? Just there. Something to really keep an eye on, and I didn't realise how invasive this is this ivy. I had some in my garden. As you can see, there is some blackthorn there, and I've rescued that, so basically that blackthorn's able to grow free. But this ivy stuff, you know, it came in, I don't know how it got into the garden. It's very invasive. Actually tracked, I've had to rip it along, or grub it out all along the hedge here, right by where I've got the pond. I've got about 6 frogs in the pond at night time, and they'll be mating, I suppose. Someone told me there's probably just be 1 female and about 5 males there. I went out the other night with a torch and saw that there were 6 frogs in the pond, and someone's told me it's probably 5 males with a female, and then a couple of days later, there you go, there's the frog spawn. And then we can see that. I've tried to zero in on it, but there it is, in the little pond I've got at the back. So well worth it, isn't it? To have a little place, keep things wild.